Hello, welcome back to part 2 of my review of this. But first I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Tara. I work at Dauphin Public Library and it is part of the Parkland Regional Library System here in Manitoba. We'd like to acknowledge that the land we are on is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Anishinaabe, Métis, Oceti-Sakowin, Cree, Ocha-Cree, and Dene, and is Treaty 2 land. Okay, so we're back with part 2 of the air fryer cookbook review, the 600 recipes. Now I made 4 recipes. In the previous video, I reviewed 2 of the recipes that I made. I am going to review the next 2 that I made now. So, the next night, after I made the rosemary and oyster chicken, which was delicious, I made the tropical coconut chicken. Now it says thighs. I did chicken breast because I thawed out a package of 4 chicken breasts, used 2 the first night for the rosemary and oyster chicken breasts, and second night, tropical coconut chicken thighs. So, of course, it couldn't be as easy as just doing the very simple recipe in here because it called for mango chutney. And number 1, I've never had mango chutney. Number 2, I didn't figure they'd have it at the local co-op here in Dauphin. Maybe they do. I didn't go looking. I decided I'd make mango chutney from scratch, which is not in this recipe book, but it is part of the adventure of me and cooking. So I made mango chutney from scratch to the best of my ability without having ever tasted mango chutney before. So I Googled it, found some random recipe on the internet that said it was easy, and tried to create mango chutney. It wasn't a super hard recipe, but it did take time because you had to cook it down for like 2 hours or something. There was a lot of vinegar in it. And it said to cut the mango pieces into 3/4 inch pieces. And I thought that was rather large for what I picture a chutney. And as it was cooking down, I'm like, this isn't breaking down the way I want it to. So I tried to then cut it, but then they were already soft. So, oh, and I used frozen mango because I have a bunch in my freezer for making smoothies. So that's why I thought I can make mango chutney. In the end, it tasted all right. But once again, I have no idea what it's supposed to taste like. I thought it was a little more vinegary than I would have liked. But maybe it's supposed to be vinegary. Anyway, so once that was made, which I did the night before after making that delicious dish, made the chutney, was up till like 11 making chutney. Then the following day, I got to, I think I actually put, so I maybe did things wrong. I decided to put the chutney on the chicken the night before because I thought it'll like soak in and be wonderful. She doesn't tell you to do that. So maybe that was part of where I went wrong. But you mix curry powder into the mango chutney, and at that point, I loved the taste of it. Loved it. So the curry cut the extra vinegar taste, and I thought it was amazing. My husband thought it was a little spicy, which usually he likes heat more. Well, we both do, but he has a much higher tolerance, so I was kind of surprised. I felt like I could just sit there and eat it with a spoon. Was yummy. So following day, take it out and put it in the air fryer. It says preheat the air fryer to 400 degrees. Mix up all your stuff. Brush the thighs with the glaze and roll the thighs in shredded coconut. Now, by this point, I'd forgotten about the coconut. Didn't actually refer back to this, I guess, properly. So the tropical coconut thighs didn't have any coconut on them, which is probably fine anyway because of how badly I messed this up. So she said, bake them in the greased frying basket for 12 to 14 minutes, turning once until golden brown. Serve and enjoy. Okay, once again, it said bake, and it's an air fryer. So I thought I'm going to fry them. Maybe not the best plan. Maybe not the best plan. So when you have something that's sugary and you're frying it at 400 degrees, it was well, as you can see from the finished picture, which we'll show now. Yep. It didn't turn out well. And at some point I checked on it and it was already getting pretty bad, but I took the temperature of the chicken and I'm like, it's not cooked enough. So I had to keep going. Yeah, it wasn't pretty looking at all. In the grand scheme, when you took the charred remains of the mango chutney off the outside, the chicken was still moist and beautiful inside, and there was a slight, because I'd probably marinated it overnight, there was some flavor penetration into the chicken, but not nearly as beautiful because I did eat some with the charred remains on the outside. And underneath the char taste, I could taste the flavors that wanted to be there without the char. So I feel that this recipe either does need to be baked, but even baked, I'm wondering if it maybe shouldn't go on right at the start, or I don't know, because you want the flavor like in the chicken, but it just, because of the sugars and the mango and everything, it's going to char, whether you bake it or air fry it. I would like to try this again. I still got a bunch of mango chutney that I made, but I think what I would do is cook the chicken for a while and then apply a coat of this and see how it tastes. Because the flavor profile before it went on the chicken was beautiful, and the little bit that I could taste on the charred remains of the chicken was quite wonderful, minus the char taste. So I'm not sure if I would try it in the air fryer or if I would just try to bake it in my oven. I'm not sure. I don't know. Okay. So then the next one I did was, I guess, the chocolate fudge squares, which I thought were brownies, and they taste like brownies and they look like brownies. So, on the sweets and desserts page, there's enough instructions that there's only 6 on the 2 pages. There still is not a lot of instruction, and I think we should be showing the picture of the completed project at this point. I'm not sure if you can see, I maybe overcooked it. So, and that was just me getting frustrated. That's not the recipe's fault. That was me getting grumpy that it wasn't setting up in a reasonable amount of time, and I think I had to go somewhere, and I think I had to go to work. So I was getting really grumpy, and I'm like, I have stuff to do while I'm trying to get ready for work, and I just put the time on for a lot more than I should have for that last little bit. And when I came back closer to the kitchen, I could smell that there had been a mistake made. So anyway, and then I didn't end up there's a chocolate topping, it says on here, basically cream and chocolate chips melted down and like drizzled on top. I didn't do that because I figured I'd wrecked the brownie and that it would taste horrible, and why would I waste more chocolate and cream on it? But they didn't taste bad at all. So they could have gotten some chocolate drizzle, but the pan disappeared very quickly between my husband and I. So it didn't have time for a topping to go on. Very simple recipe: sugar, flour, honey. One of my complaints though is that I know in cookbooks, I like the ingredients to be in the order that they should be going into as you're assembling it. I think that's logical to list them that way. And she doesn't do that, and it drove me crazy because I kept going to grab the next thing, and I'd have to go down to, instead of looking here, I had to go in here and read which thing went in next. So I found it, like, she lists sugar and then flour and honey and baking powder, vanilla, cocoa powder, eggs, butter, orange zest, and dark chocolate. So, but then in her explanation, you whisk the eggs with the sugar and honey which makes sense, but they're not even remotely in the same area grouped together. It didn't make a lot of sense. And I didn't have any oranges, so I thought I'd just throw it said to put the orange zest into the melted chocolate. I'm sure that would have worked just fine. I, however, didn't have any oranges at home, so I had no orange zest. So I thought, well, I've got orange flavoring, extract, that's the word I'm looking for, orange extract. So I threw that in the melted chocolate. Know what happens when you do that? It becomes a solid. So you've melted your chocolate and now you've made it into a solid. And it's supposed to be the last thing you just gently mix in. That didn't work. So I think I would rework things. Well, maybe I wouldn't add orange extract. And honestly, I didn't even taste the orange. So maybe I would just forget about it entirely. Although today I would have oranges, so I could do orange zest. But yeah, that was also not a recipe fail. That was a me fail. So anyway, it did turn out quite yummy. But once again, like it takes 23 to 26 minutes baking in the air fryer. Well, my pan barely fit in the air fryer and got caught a couple times because my air fryer has a rotisserie thing. So the only spot my 8x8 pan could fit inside of it was in the area, and you had to position it just so. Well, then when I pulled it out to check the doneness, I went to put it back in, I couldn't get it back in. So I had to fight with it for a couple minutes because it got jammed and stuck. And then you're dealing with a 400 degree or 350 degree unit that's pretty small, and you're trying to get it. So the recipe is okay, but unless you're living in an apartment and you don't have an oven, or maybe you're out camping and have a plug-in and you've taken your air fryer and want to bake some brownies, I don't understand why you would bake brownies in an air fryer. I don't understand. I don't understand. My oven would have been easier, faster, and it just would have worked better. Because I think I ended up, it said bake in the air fryer for 23 to 26 minutes. And I'm pretty sure by the time I pulled out my overdone brownies, I'd probably had them in there an extra, definitely 10 minutes over the 26. So definitely at least 36 minutes, if not, it might have been 40 minutes, because I was getting pretty grumpy. So I'm pretty sure it was more like the 40-minute mark. And the other thing with the air fryer, I don't seem to be able to, when I bake, I seem to know, no matter where I am in the house, I know when my baking is ready without a timer going off or anything. And in the air fryer, I had no clue that I was burning it. I had no idea. It just, there was no, well, I was angry with it. So maybe that didn't help with things, but it didn't. Yeah. I don't think I'm baking in the air fryer. Now I think there is a recipe in here possibly for some donuts somewhere. And I wouldn't mind trying some donuts. There was a lemon glazed cupcake recipe, and if you know me at all, I love making cupcakes. But after that, like, I'm not sure how I even fit a cupcake. Like, I don't think I've got a cupcake pan that would fit in the air fryer. And after that experience, why would I? But, there we go, air fried donuts. Or tropical pineapple fritters. Okay, so there might be some things in there that would be appropriate for baking or air frying as a dessert. Air fried donuts. There might be a part 3, maybe. This is due back, I should return it. I don't have self-rising flour. We will see if there is a part 3 to this, because I am curious about making donuts. I've never made donuts before in my life. I also would really like to find a good fried chicken recipe. That was kind of the goal. I really wanted fried chicken. Because of my food allergy, I can't have fried chicken basically anywhere. So like it's been years and years, like a decade or more, since I've had like fried chicken. Oh, I miss fried chicken. So I will maybe continue to peruse this and see if I didn't find one, but maybe I just missed it, because there's a lot, 600 recipes in here. But I don't understand why it tells me to bake stuff in an air fryer. I don't understand that part of it. Baking my chicken in an air fryer. I'm frying the chicken. So that's kind of my feelings on this cookbook. The recipes, it needs pictures. It needs more explanation. It just does. You have to already know certain things and be a certain amount of kitchen smart, I think, to pull this off. So I don't think it's effortless air frying recipes for beginners. I don't think it is. I think you already have to be a cook to be pulling this off. Yeah. So maybe some really yummy recipes in here, but you have to have some knowledge and know-how, I think, to pull them off and be okay with not having any pictures and the ingredients being in the wrong order. Just bad. Yeah. Okay, so I'm not totally loving this, though. 2 of the recipes were quite yummy. The third one, burnt chicken, that's, yeah, that, partially my fault, partially the book's fault, I think, because I don't think the mango chutney should have gone on right from the start. I think it needed some cooking time. So, both me and the cookbook's fault on that one. Yeah, we'll see. I want to like the cookbook, but I think I'd steal recipes from this cookbook and bake things in my oven instead of using my air fryer for like the lemon. Like, of course I'm a baker, so the baking part really appeals to me, but I think I saw something that said chocolate and raspberry cake. Yeah. But once again, I wouldn't do it in the air fryer. I don't think there's enough room really in my, well, there might be in my air fryer. Maybe. But once again, why? Like, if I'm not frying it, why? If you know why, let me know why, because I don't get it. Okay, that's enough. I'm gonna stop ranting now. Thanks for tuning in. I will see you on the next video. Bye for now.